How to find your calories and macros for fat loss. Let's go. We're going to talk about what are calories and macros in the first place. We're going to talk about how to find your calories and macros for your specific place where you're at right now. We're going to talk about how to make adjustments throughout your fat loss phase to your calories and macros that you set. And we're going to talk about your exact next action steps forward after watching this video. What are calories and macros? Calorie is a unit of energy. A Kit Kat, one Kit Kat, estimated 200 calories of energy, okay? About 85 grams of carrots has 30 units of energy. When you look on the ingredient label, it says how many units of energy there are in that food. It's pretty basic, right? So if you want to lose weight, you need calories in to be lower than calories out. Just like if you want to lose money, you need money coming in to be less than money going out. I don't know why you would want to lose money, but the analogy makes sense here. Come on, guys. So calories in, it's the food and the liquids that you ingest. Calories going out, we talked about this in the last video, but it's your resting metabolic rate, how many calories you burn at rest, not doing anything. Thermic effect of food, how many calories it takes to digest and absorb the nutrients from the food that you eat. NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, just means the activity that you do throughout the day, that's not considered exercise. So walking to the mailbox, taking out the trash, walking down a flight of stairs, that all burns calories. And then eat, which is actually structured exercise. We're not eating anything, okay? Don't get it wrong. We're trying to lose weight here. Don't eat anything. But that's calories in and calories out. Now, macros. What are macros? Macros are carbohydrates, protein, fats, and ethanol that's found in alcohol. Let's dive into macros for a little bit. I think a little bit of education goes a long way. So the more you can learn about here, the more adjustments you can make by yourself and not have to depend on me or these YouTube videos as much. Now, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. Now, unlike what you hear on social media where they're like, hey, carbohydrates are terrible, never have carbs. Oh, I cut carbs, I lost a bunch of weight. Carbohydrates are actually pretty good for you. They have some pros and they have some cons. Okay, so let's talk about the pros. Carbs provide energy throughout the day. Your body runs on glucose. Your body loves glucose. Your body loves glucose so much that if you do not have carbs throughout the day, because carbs are a non-essential nutrient, your body doesn't need them to survive, your body will convert other sources of fuel into glucose, what carbs break down into, for fuel, because your body loves glucose. A lot of athletes, many athletes, I want to say 99% of athletes, carb up before their workout, carb up before their meet. Carbs are great for pre-workout energy. Carbs are great for post-workout recovery. After you're done lifting and you tear the muscle fibers down, if you eat carbs after, the carbs actually break down into glucose and then go inside your muscles and help them recover and give you that little pump before your workout, and they help you recover for the next day's workout. Complex carbs are full of fiber and micronutrients. So like whole grains, like brown rice, sweet potatoes, beans, peas, lentils, whole grain pasta, whole grain bread. All these are full of fiber, micronutrients, awesome, healthy, awesome for gut health, awesome for digestion, making you feel full throughout the day. Now, what are some cons to eating carbohydrates? Well, cons to certain carbohydrates are simple carbs. Now, simple carbs you digest very quickly and you absorb the glucose from them very quickly, which is pretty good if you're going straight into a workout and you want that energy really quick, but it's not so good for weight loss outside of your workout, because outside of the workout, you want to be burning fat for fuel. You don't want to be going up and down in your blood glucose levels super quickly. Now, what are some cons to eating carbohydrates? Well, cons to eating simple carbs is that your body digests them very quickly, meaning your body absorbs the nutrients from them very quickly, and it's great when you're going into a workout or you need that energy really quick. But what happens, you probably noticed this, of having a sugary coffee or, a Rice Krispie treat or candy, you experience that little glucose high, that sugar high, and then you crash off of it after 30 minutes, right? You're super excited, super jittery, let's go, and then boom, you crash. That's your blood sugar going up and your blood sugar going down. And what you want is actually consistent, stable blood glucose levels throughout the day. That's what's going to give you stable energy throughout the day. And your day is not going to look super energetic and then super low, but more stable. And honestly, that's what you really want when it comes to weight loss and just in general in terms of having energy. Simple carbs also do not make you feel very full when you consume them. Simple carbohydrates have the fiber removed from them and they don't have a whole lot of nutrients behind it because they're very quickly digesting. Some examples of simple carbs are fruit juice, candy, ice cream, sodas, caramel macchiatos. Your body does not feel very full. And the thing that stops a lot of people from losing weight is the fact that they have to deal with hunger. Now, you're going to deal with some hunger when it comes to weight loss and fat loss, but you don't want to deal with a whole bunch of it and unnecessarily put yourself in situations where you feel extremely hungry. Carbs are found in these healthy foods. They're found in fruits, veggies, whole grains like breads, pastas, rice, legumes like beans, peas, lentils. They're found in some other foods as well, but they're also found in these unhealthy foods like processed foods, grocery store aisle snacks, fast foods, high-calorie drinks are full of carbohydrates as well. So you can start to understand that carbs aren't bad and carbs aren't good. We shouldn't label them as these. We should understand that, hey, there's some pros to eating carbs, and certain carbs are healthier and more nutritious than others. And then certain carbs are probably not the most nutritious, probably not the most healthy, probably not our best friend when it comes to fat loss. Now let's talk about proteins. Proteins have 4 calories per gram. What are some pros to eating protein throughout the day? Well, some pros to eating protein out the day is the first one is it builds and maintains muscle mass. Building muscle is important for health, longevity, making sure you have strong joints, strong connective tissue, strong muscles, strong bones throughout the rest of your life. But as well, when it comes to weight loss, you want to make sure that the weight that you're losing is body fat and not muscle. And if you do not eat protein, you will not build and maintain muscle mass, which is going to lower your metabolism, which is going to make weight loss very, very hard. Protein also keeps you very full throughout the day. Protein is a very satiating nutrient, meaning it just that. It keeps you very full throughout the day compared to carbohydrates and fats. So if you don't eat protein, you're going to become more hungry than necessary. I actually had a client who came into UFC one time, and all we did was increase our protein intake. She's like, dude, my cravings are completely gone. I don't feel cravings throughout the day. Protein also keeps your metabolism high. Like we talked about, protein has a very high thermic effect. The thermic effect of food is, like we talked about before, how much energy it takes to break down the food that you eat into its nutrients so your body can actually absorb them, because your body can't just take steak and then give it to your liver, give it to your muscles, right? It has to break it down. That process takes energy. Protein takes the most energy out of all the nutrients. It takes about 20 to 30% of the calories that you eat from protein. So if you eat 100 calories from protein, 20 or 30 calories are spent just breaking that protein down. Hence, it keeps your metabolism high. Now, what are some cons to eating protein throughout the day? Well, some cons to eating protein, one of them is where the protein is sourced from. Now, if you're getting your protein from lean meats, fish, poultry, dairy, eggs, egg whites, beans, peas, lentils, amazing. But if you're getting your protein from like red meats and processed foods, it's not that the protein is damaging you. It's not that the protein is giving you bad health. It's where you're getting the protein from. It's the package around the protein. And you also don't want to eat so much protein past 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, because past that, it's not really giving you much benefit when it comes to weight loss, if any. And you're not getting enough carbs and fats, and you're probably not getting the carbs and fats that you really want to, right? So fats support your hormonal health to a certain degree. A lot of people get like dazed and sick, and they feel low energy. When it comes to weight loss, they're cutting their fats way too low. Your fats should be at minimum 0.3 grams per pound. And when it comes to carbs, fruits, veggies, and whole grains, you don't want to be eating so much protein that you're forgetting about those food groups right there. Protein is found in these healthy foods: meat, fish, poultry, dairy, eggs, legumes, protein powders, and soy products like tofu and tempeh, legumes like beans, peas, lentils, all healthy sources that include protein in them. However, protein is also found in unhealthy foods like processed meats and fatty meats. Fats have 9 calories per gram. What are the pros to eating more fats? Now, fats to a certain degree, to their minimum intake, which is about 0.3 grams of fats per pound of body weight, 0.4 grams of fats per pound of body weight, support hormone health. A lot of people make the mistake when it comes to weight loss. They'll just cut their fats super low, either because they hear protein super important, carbs are fairly important, so they'll cut their fats down low, or they think that, hey, fats make me fat, so I'm just going to cut fats. However, fats to a certain degree support your hormone health. They participate in the production of testosterone, right? So if you cut your fats too low, if you notice yourself getting sick, feeling low energy, your fats might be too low. So pros of fats that are great for hormone health, and unsaturated fats have been shown with better health outcomes in the long run. So monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, these are known as healthy fats. Saturated fat is not unhealthy, but general recommendations are to keep them in moderation, right? Saturated fats are to be kept below 6 to 10% of your total daily calories, according to, the American Heart Association, these other organizations. Now, there's some people coming out and saying, hey, that was way back when, we should change that now. But just keep that in mind. Saturated fats are found in meats, eggs, dairy, mostly animal products, coconut oil, butter, things of that sort. Unsaturated fats, healthy fats, are found in avocados, nuts, seeds, oils from olive oil, avocado oil, nut butters like peanut butter, almond butter, seeds like chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, all sources of healthy fats. Now, fats, the pros when it comes to weight loss as well, is they actually slow down the digestion of a meal, making you feel full for longer. So if you just have protein, yeah, it's going to make you feel full. But what helps you feel really full, on one end, you have something that makes you feel not so full. Is just eating simple carbs by itself. But imagine you have carbs in a meal. Those carbs also have fiber in them. You have protein in the meal and you have fats in the meal. That meal is going to take a whole lot slower to digest. It's going to take a whole lot longer to digest. The protein, the fiber is going to make you feel super full. So having that well-balanced meal, that's going to keep you full for so much longer than just having simple carbs or just having protein and carbs. You want to have well-balanced meals. That's literally the key to weight loss. Now, what are the cons to eating fats? Now, 9 calories per gram when it comes to fats means a little bit of fats can go a long way, especially with like nuts, nut butters, oils, avocados. Yes, these are healthy, but even a little bit of nut butter, like this much peanut butter, it's so sad, like 2 tablespoons is 200 calories, right? So you want to pay attention, even though these are healthy. I have a lot of clients that come in and they're like, hey, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating salads, I'm eating healthy fats, olive oil, avocados, I'm eating all this stuff, but I'm not losing weight. What's going on? Well, first of all, it's probably your protein intake. Second of all, just because it's healthy, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to lose weight. It's also how much of that healthy food that you're eating, and fats can add up very, very quickly. So you want to be careful. Saturated fat known to lead to higher risk of cholesterol, right? So you want to keep that into account. You want to be careful when it comes to saturated fats coming from animals, meat, dairy, eggs. Just be careful of how much you're eating. And if you need fuel quickly, have less fats in the meal. So a lot of times people have a pre-workout meal, maybe like 30 or 60 minutes right before their workout. Fats are going to slow down digestion, which is great for keeping hunger levels stable, energy levels stable. However, if you want energy quick for your workout, limit the amount of fats in that meal. Typically just go for protein and a high amount of carbs. Now, fats are found in these healthy foods like meat, fish, poultry, dairy, eggs, avocados, oils, butters, nuts, and seeds. But it's also found in these unhealthy foods like processed foods, fatty sources of super fatty sources of meat. Butter can be unhealthy as well. Coconut oil, margarine, processed foods in general have a lot of fats to them. So you want to be careful where you're getting your fats from. Now, alcohol, ethanol, is a macronutrient. It actually has 7 calories per gram. It's the one we tend to forget about. Now, what are the pros to adding more ethanol into your diet? Well, you have a fun time. You meet a girl and, you dance away the night and you might meet somebody lucky. You have a good time with your friends, but that's pretty much it. Besides a fun time, alcohol doesn't provide much. It is a poison. The cons to alcohol. Well, lots of alcohol consistently will be bad for recovery, right? The accumulation of alcohol is going to dampen your recovery when it comes to consistently going to the gym and dieting. It's not the best. It's actually an anti-fatigue. It's anti-recovery. So if you want to recover well, the last thing you should do is go drink some alcohol, okay? It's not the best when it comes to muscle protein synthesis, which is the process of building muscle mass. It kind of interferes with muscle protein synthesis to a certain degree. Now, 1 or 2 drinks a week is not a big deal. Definitely have your fun, but consistently drinking alcohol multiple times a week is not going to help out. Alcohol leads to binging after. There's not a time, I don't think there's ever been a time known that someone has drank alcohol and not had a McDonald's Happy Meal after, or not been to Taco Bell after to get a steak quesadilla and a Nacho Bel Grande. So if you are going to drink alcohol, yes, the alcohol is going to have some negative effects when it comes to building muscle and losing fat, but it's also what happens as a result of the alcohol, one of them being binge eating after the drinking episode. Another con to alcohol is it disrupts sleep. A lot of people have alcohol close to bedtime, right? You're going out during the night, 4, 5, 6 p.m., and even a little bit later, alcohol disrupts your sleep patterns. So sleep is crucial. It's crucial for building testosterone, lowering your cortisol the next day. A lack of sleep messes with cortisol, messes with your 2 hunger hormones like the leptin and ghrelin that are responsible for making you feel full and hungry throughout the day, messes with your dopamine system. Sleep is responsible for the process of building muscle and where the fat is broken down and liberated. So lack of sleep definitely doesn't help out as well. Alcohol is usually consumed in high sugar beverages. So we'll get into lowest calorie sources and highest calorie sources of alcohol. But, alcohol has calories inside of it too. And it's usually coming in the form of margaritas and pina coladas and sodas, and all of that is not so good. Best tips for alcohol to continue losing fat and building muscle. Keep it at one or two drinks per week. If you are going to drink, do it before a rest day so you have that next day to kind of wind down and recover, because usually that day after drinking is not going to be the best lift you've ever had of all time. And do not binge eat after. Try to control yourself. If you are going to binge eat, then leave some calories throughout the rest of the day. Have a little bit of room to binge eat after. Now, what are the lowest calorie sources of alcohol? I don't drink, but I went through nutrition labels for all these, and these seem like the lowest calorie sources. And then you have some high calorie sources that you want to stay away from. So if you have to drink, stick to a vodka soda, a white wine, a hard seltzer, tequila with lime, a light beer, a gin and diet tonic, dry martinis, palomas, rum and diet Coke. Okay? Hopefully that gives you some options out there. And highest calorie sources: Long Island iced tea, margaritas, pina coladas, Mai Tais, and fruity drinks. You want to watch out for. Not going to be your best friend. Alcohol and high calorie at the same time. So how to find your actual calories that you need to lose weight. How to find your calories? Well, you go to bmrcalculator.net. And once you go there, you're going to type in your info, and you're going to choose your calories based off your activity level. So you're going to type in your height, your weight, some other information. It's going to spit out a calorie number. That's your basal metabolic rate. That's how many calories you burn at rest. And you're going to adjust to that based on the little chart that they have below that. It's going to show based off activity level, whether you're completely sedentary, exercise 1 to 3 times per week, exercise 4 to 5 times per week, daily exercise, whatever yours is, it's going to show you the amount of calories you burn per day based off of that. So, for example, if I type my information in with the amount of exercise I do, say I get 2533 calories per day. Now, to lose 1 pound of fat per week, I need to lose 3,500 calories per week. That's about 500 calories per day. So I'm going to subtract 500 from the amount of calories I get. I'm going to end up with 2033 calories per day to start losing weight. And remember, that's an estimated number based off the calculator. It's going to depend on a bunch of things, right? You can't divide every single person into sedentary 1 to 3 times per week, 4 to 5 times per week. 7 billion people out there. There's a lot of variance in there. BMR also depends on the weather that you're in, right? If you live in colder weathers, you're going to have a higher metabolism because your body has to heat up to adjust to that colder weather. It's also dependent on genetics. It's also dependent on a few other things, you know, age, genetics, all that jazz. And everyone has a little bit of variance. So that number, like I'm saying, that number isn't going to be perfect. So what you want to actually do is find your actual maintenance calories. And the way you're going to do that is by starting with the number that they give you, and you're going to track your calories for 3 weeks, eating exactly that number they tell you. You know, plus or minus 10 to 20, 25 calories is not a big deal. But you want to stick to that number roundabout, and you want to track your morning weight for 3 weeks, and you want to take weekly averages of your morning weight and track the changes from week to week. Are you maintaining your weight? Are you gaining weight? Are you losing weight? Now, dependent on that, say you are losing a little bit of weight, then, you know, that's not your maintenance calories. The maintenance calories that calculator spat out is actually you're in a deficit, and you want to pay attention to how much of a deficit you're in. Now, the rate of weight loss you want to stick to is about 1 pound per week, and you don't want to lose faster than 1% of your body weight per week for those of you that are super motivated. So if you're 200 pounds, you don't want to lose faster than 2 pounds per week. First of all, it's going to make dieting very hard. Second of all, you're just going to lose muscle mass, right? That's a whole lot of body fat to lose at one time. Your body can't get rid of that much body fat at one time. It's going to start digging into your muscle, which you want to preserve. So that's how to find your actual maintenance calories. And remember, minimum intakes are 1,500 calories a day for men, 1,200 calories a day for women when it comes to eating calories throughout the day. Anything lower than that, you are risking nutrient deficiency according to Harvard Health. And what you're actually going to end up doing is plateauing when it comes to your fat loss. And what you're going to have to do is do a reverse diet where you start to add calories back in just to get your metabolism back up to normal. If you eat less than those amounts, your metabolism is built for survival. So it's just going to think, hey, this is how it thinks. There's not a lot of food in my environment right now because I'm not being fed enough food. That must mean we live in a very scarce environment. There's not a lot of energy nearby. There's not a lot of food nearby. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down my non-exercise activity thermogenesis, like we mentioned before, my NEAT. I'm going to shut down energy production. You're going to feel a little bit more lazy, a lot more slow. Maybe before, if you got up to walk to a grocery store, now you really feel like driving to a grocery store for some reason. You just don't have as much energy. That's your metabolism adapting to the energy that you're putting in. So what you want to avoid is slashing all your calories out of the way and going down to below 1,500, below 1,200. Usually for men, their fat loss phase starts around like 1,800 to 2,000 calories, maybe 1,750. And then for women, right around like 1,500 calories per day, right? So you don't want to start off at those numbers or even like 50 or 100 calories above. Now, if you get to those numbers and you're like, dude, I'm pretty close, what should I do? I need to continue losing weight. Well, you should increase the amount of steps and cardio you're doing instead. That would be a way to keep losing weight. As long as you're doing the fundamentals properly, like we said, resistance training, sleep, managing your stress, small calorie deficit, and 7 hours of sleep too. All right, how to find your macros? Well, when it comes to macros, you want to find protein first, because protein is possibly the most important macronutrient when it comes to looking a different way. If you want to lose weight, you focus on calories. If you want to make sure you lose body fat when you're losing weight, then you got to focus on macros as well. You want to find protein first. Protein is the most important. Now, your bare minimum intake that you should shoot for is 0.7 grams per pound. You will build anywhere starting from like 0.5 grams per pound. You will start to build muscle here and there, and you'll have a positive effect on fat loss, but 0.7 maximizes the amount of muscle gain you're going to experience when you're eating at maintenance or in a caloric surplus. Now, the reason, that's why I say 0.7 grams per pound should be your bare minimum intake. The reason why you want to consider going a little bit higher is because when you're in a diet, you're more likely to burn muscle mass for fuel, for energy. So those extra amino acids from the extra protein you eat can definitely help preserve your muscle mass, possibly even build some muscle mass. During a diet, you're going to experience lots of hunger. Protein makes you feel very full throughout the day. So more protein can help you work against that hunger. When you're in a diet, you also want to burn as many calories as possible. Eating protein burns more calories than eating carbs or fats because the thermic effect of protein is so high. So that's why you want to consider going a little bit higher. So that's why 1 gram per pound is the optimal daily intake. Now, 1.2 grams per pound, if preferred, you can go that high if you really like eating protein, if you want to feel more full throughout the day. If it's your preference, you don't have to, right? There's no significant effects on muscle mass gain that you're going to have going past 0.7, 0.8 grams per pound. 1 gram per pound for some of the population. But if you prefer, you can. Don't go past that. Really don't go past that. If you're a natural lifter, not on steroids, coming into a gym, because you might not get enough carbs or fats, and you definitely need those for energy throughout the day. Carbs are great for pre-workout energy, post-workout recovery. They're full of fiber, micronutrients, so you don't want to forget about those, and then fats as well to support hormone health. Now, carbs and fats are not as important for body composition changes. They have some pros and cons that we mentioned before, but carbs minimum intake, Dr. Eric Helms recommends 0.5 grams per pound. So if you're 200 pounds, that's 100 grams of carbs. And fat minimum intake about 0.3 to 0.4 grams per pound. So if you're 200 pounds, that's about 60 to 80 grams per day. And why you want that is if you start going below those numbers, you might start to notice yourself really sick, really feeling brain fog, feeling unhealthy. It's because you're messing with your hormones now. Your fats are way too low. It can't support the hormone production, testosterone especially. So try increasing your fats if you're feeling that lethargy, that brain fog, etc. For optimal results, if you really want to build as much muscle as possible, most people do well with protein at 1 gram per pound, fats at minimum, and carbs as high as possible. Try that out if you really want optimal results, and then you can adjust based off that, because some people really don't like fats at minimum. Some people do well with okay, let's try that out, and then let's try increasing fats to the point I really enjoy, because fats are really like savory foods, and then try bringing carbs a little bit down. A lot of fat loss is just like taking these general recommendations, starting with them, and then making adjustments, but being aware to how your body reacts to it, where your energy levels are at, where your health is at, where your levels of focus are at throughout the day, how your digestion is, and how to make adjustments. So let's say you hit a 2 to 3 week plateau and you're not losing weight. Well, first thing you have to ask yourself, are you doing everything correctly? A lot of people hit a plateau and they're like, oh, let me add more cardio, let me decrease food. Hold up, wait a minute. Are you doing everything correctly? Are you sleeping 7 to 9 hours every single night with high quality sleep consistently? Are you doing at least 3 days of strength training? And are you doing strength training the right way with good form, progressively overloading, training close to failure with compound movements? Are you in a small calorie deficit? You didn't cut your calories drastically, because if you cut your calories drastically, you slow down your metabolism. So the answer is not to do more cardio or eat less food. It's actually to do a reverse diet and build up your metabolism back up. Do you have a high protein intake of at least 0.7 grams per pound? Are you getting 7K steps minimum? Are you not experiencing any cheat days where you throw off your numbers completely? You can do 13 days of being in a 500 calorie deficit. At the end of those 13 days, you were in a 6,500 calorie deficit. However, if you take one weekend with the boys and you order Pizza Hut and brownies and a whole lot of soda and some milkshakes, you can erase 13 days of being in a deficit really quickly in those 2 days. I know I can. So sometimes you're not in a plateau. You're just not doing everything correctly when it comes to doing the fundamentals. Now, if you are doing everything correctly, then the answer is to progress to the next step. You are on a plateau. Now you either need to increase the amount of activity that you're doing or to decrease the amount of food that you're eating. So the best way to do that, I would say, is asking yourself, hey, can I survive with less food? If I eat less food, would I be okay throughout the day? Like, am I eating enough food to a point I can stay sane if someone told me, hey, you got to decrease about 200, 300, 500 calories? If so, then decrease food. But if you're like, dude, no, I'm barely eating. I'm grateful for what I have. I'm very hungry throughout the day. I don't want to decrease food. And I want to have that Saturday night where I go out and I experience a little bit of fun with the boys and I maintain my weight for that day. That's kind of a refeed cheat day, but it still helps me like stay sane and I can stick to my diet. Then cool, don't decrease food, just increase the amount of activity you're doing throughout the week. So you can either increase the amount of steps you're taking per day, walk more, definitely recommend that. Maybe some light intensity cardio, or like I said, you can increase the amount of cardio you're doing. So you can do medium intensity cardio, some biking, preferably low impact stuff. So not like running, right? Because that's, if you really want to build muscle mass, then you really want to work out your lower body. The high impact stuff might have a impact on how much muscle you can build to a certain degree. So biking, rowing, Stairmaster, things like that are going to be great to add in. And if you want to go on hikes, if you really want to add sports in there, you definitely can. Now, if you choose to do less food, you want to keep protein the same. You don't want to decrease the amount of protein you're eating. You want to decrease calories from fats or carbs. Remember those minimum numbers. You want to remember carbs as 0.5 grams per pound and fats as 0.3 to 0.4 grams per pound. Do not go below those minimum numbers. If you're following a meal plan, then just go to a lower calorie meal plan. Your action steps after watching this video right now is to watch the meal prep videos within 24 hours of this video. So I have 3 videos that should be out on my channel sometime in the future, right? If you're watching this after a week I upload it, probably not. But sometime in the next few weeks, I will have 3 videos out called 5 fat loss breakfast recipes, 5 fat loss lunch and dinner recipes, and 3 fat loss protein shake recipes. If those are out, you should see them on my channel or linked in the description. Click on those within 24 hours of this video. And I want you to pick 3 to 4 recipes from those videos, and then after you pick 3 or 4 that you really seem like you would enjoy, you're going to move on to the next video. It's going to be called How to Track Your Foods on MyFitnessPal. You're going to watch that within 24 hours of watching those videos. So within 48 hours, you've watched the meal prep videos and you've watched How to Track Your Foods. Now, once you watch those, then you're going to actually track the meals that you want to eat and adjust it to the calories that you set per day that you found out watching this video. Right? So maybe you found out, hey, I'm supposed to have 1,800 calories and 150 grams of protein. Then you're going to adjust those recipes right there to fit those numbers. And then after that, what else we got? You're going to DM me free on Instagram at CoachXAli for a free grocery list, a 3-day strength training routine, and a weight tracker. You're going to DM me fat loss if you're confused, if you have any questions, if you don't know what to do, if you're stuck in a step out of this series of videos I'm uploading, text me on Instagram. Just DM me fat loss. I'll know you need help. Or you can click the link in the description if you want to apply for the one-on-one program for a custom workout routine, 100 plus meals tailored to your preference and goals, weekly check-ins, group calls, and adjustments to your plan. If you are confused with fat loss, if you watch YouTube video after YouTube video, if you don't like the way you look in the mirror, if you wake up and you're like, dude, I've been spending about 3 to 6 to 12 months trying to lose weight, but it seems like I make a little bit of progress, I try a few things here and there, but nothing ends up working, and I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired, then maybe you need some coaching, right? This is what all the successful people, when they write books, they say surround yourself in a like-minded community and hire mentors. So my question for you is, why are you not hiring a mentor when it comes to your health and fitness? If that kind of makes sense for you, then click the link in the description. I'd love to work with you and help you out. We'll set up a one-on-one call and I'll tell you all about it. Cool. Besides that, bada bing, bada boom. I'm out of here.